Namaskar dosto apka, mir YouTube channel, me svagat hai. Hello, my name is Ruslan, I'm from Russia, and now I will watch video from India. The name of this video: Most amazing temple in the world, Rani Ki Vav. Wow, very interesting. Let's start our video.
Hey guys, there is a mysterious ancient structure
Gujarat, I
in
know Gujarat.
What is it? Archaeologists
This
and
state,
historians
I hear
tell us
about
a
that.
standard story. This is called Rani Ki Vav. It is a step well built for the locals so the locals can dig down these steps and draw water
Step temple.
from this
This.
well. But you are about to learn
Wow.
that this is not a step well, but it was built for a
Wow.
completely
Wow.
different reason. What
I
you're
don't
looking
understand.
at is one of its kind. It's an inverted
Negative temple.
Some fancy words,
Inverted.
you may think. A typical Hindu temple starts with the ground level, has
Yes.
some steps going up to increase
This
its height
typical
or altitude
temple.
gradually. Finally, at the tower area, starts with a large base and then ends up having a pointy end at the top, right? Now, Rani Ki Vav is designed exactly the opposite way. It starts with the ground level,
Wow.
slowly starts to decrease its altitude. You gradually go down, and at this area, it starts
Wow.
with a larger top, but ends up
Looks
having a
very
pointy
unusual.
end at the very bottom.
How people
Maybe I can do better.
make that?
So here, we're making a model of Rani Ki Vav. Imagine this foam is the piece of land, and I'm starting to carve the steps here, and then there is a flat area here, and then I carve more steps, then a flat area, and so on. And at the far end, I've started to make a deep, so-called quote-unquote well, which gradually reduces in its radius towards the bottom.
Wow.
If you look at this model now, it looks very much like Rani Ki Vav, right? But in order to see the negative temple, we have to fill up the empty space and see what happens.
Negative temple.
So I've taken some plaster of Paris and I'm going to fill up the empty space.
Wow.
I'm filling up
Very
everything
interesting
and kind of leveling up
experiment.
the ground level. The plaster of Paris is now slowly solidifying inside the empty space. In a few minutes, it completely solidifies. Now, remember, I told you it's an inverted negative temple. So I have to invert this model. Now, let me cut off the foam and see how the solidified empty space looks. The foam represents the positive material, and I'm slowly removing the positive material. As I'm doing it, you can start to understand that it looks very much like a Hindu temple. Let me clean up the foam sticking on it, and you can see for yourself.
Wow.
This is not just looking similar to an ancient temple.
Typical.
It's looking identical to a typical ancient temple.
Typical.
I have just proved my theory that Rani Ki Vav is not a step well, but an inverted negative temple. If you go to most ancient temples, you will see steps rising in altitude. Then there will be a small shrine called mandapa, and then there will be more steps leading to more mandapas.
Year
And at
people
the far end, you will see a giant
make
tower
this
with a pointy
inverted
top.
negative
And this
temple?
is exactly
In what year?
what we see
Very
here.
interesting.
If we exclude
And
the
how
minor
people do
details
that?
and look at the macro
How
model, there's
many
no
people
doubt that
do
it was
that?
built as a negative inverted temple, and no other
It's
temple
very
has
unusual.
ever
I
been
never
built like
see
this. Not only in India,
something like
but
that.
in the
I
whole
see
world.
that,
So what
but
we
I
are
don't
looking at is
understand.
actually a
I see
wonder of
in
the
another
world.
video.
No one has has understood that this is such a temple in the last few centuries. I think I am the first one to fully understand this. Now, how did I realize that it was a negative temple? I visit hundreds of ancient sites, and the energy and vibration in every place is usually very positive
Positive
and
energy
peaceful.
and
However,
peaceful.
our entire team became very negative as we entered the site. They felt anger and sorrow.
In
They
this
blamed it on the
anger
weather and
and
other
sorrow?
things. But I could feel
Yes?
the negativity get more and more intense as I went deeper
Wow.
and deeper into the structure. This is exactly the opposite of what happens when you visit a positive temple. Typically, in a Hindu temple, as you walk towards the main chamber, your positivity increases and you
Positive.
reach a
Positive
calm,
temple and
joyful
negative temple.
state
Wow.
when you're in the main chamber.
Only Indian culture
Of course, you can easily
can make
dismiss this
that.
as pseudoscience, but we have all had at least one instance where we met a negative person, but we did not trust our instinct and paid for it. But if it has such a negative vibe, what happened to the builders who built it?
Yes,
This
good
is the
question.
crazy part. After creating such a
Crazy
negative
part.
structure, the builders seem to have understood its energy. They completely abandoned this place and moved out of this area. All the locals were also
Yes?
forbidden from
Forbidden
visiting
from
this
visiting
place.
that place?
Nobody entered this location for many, many centuries until 1890 when two British archaeologists accidentally, quote unquote,
Discovered
discovered
this
this structure.
structure.
They have recorded that initially nothing was visible except a small pit and a few pillars. The whole place was completely, I mean, completely covered with dirt.
Yes?
In fact, the two
Dirt?
archaeologists expected to find a very small structure when they started excavating it. But when they
They
started to understand
surprise.
about the actual size of this place, they gave up the excavation project. There have been at least 5 different attempts to excavate and restore this
5
structure
different
since
attempts.
then, and every attempt has been stopped halfway because they keep finding more and more elaborate structures. The last excavation and restoration attempt was done between 1981 and 1987. Did they succeed in finishing the job? No.
No.
They could
Yes.
only finish the job up to this part. And beyond this line, no one is permitted because the excavation and renovation is
Wow.
not complete.
Wow.
And experts
Looks
are embarrassed to admit
how
that it may never be completed.
how
Why? Because as they
people
excavate more and more, they keep
make
finding
that.
more and more stuff. Some say this structure actually stretches underground for acres. Some say the so-called well, it keeps on getting deeper and deeper, just like the mystery of the structure. This place is so mysterious that archaeologists sheepishly admit that no one actually knows the original name
Mysterious
of the
place.
structure. Today, it's simply called Rani Ki Vav, meaning the Queen's Stepwell.
Queen
Did a
step
queen
well.
actually build such a structure? And did she just name it simply as a
No.
Queen's Stepwell? After quote unquote discovering this structure, archaeologists and historians searched for some evidence about the builder as they could not find anything on the site. And they found an obscure 14th century text that talks about a
This is
stepwell
text?
built by a queen. So they've conveniently pinned it
Whew.
on her. Experts admit that this is
What a
only
great
guess, as they have not found
mini
one
book.
single inscription about this queen in all of this giant structure. Think about the human mind for a second when people donate a single stone block to a temple. They write their names all over it. when some generous influencer buys food to the homeless. They take a picture of that and post it everywhere. Who built the world's only inverted
Nobody
negative
know
temple? And
his
why
name.
did they not write their name on the wall
Interesting question.
even once?
Why they did that?
However,
But
experts
it
have tried
looks
their best
beautiful.
to keep this place mystery-free, and they've even claimed that a statue found here shows the queen who built it, and she built it in memory of her husband. However,
Memory
the
of
statue
his
looks like
husband.
any other female statue in the temple.
A lot of
And
girls
why didn't the royal courtiers write anything
on
about
walls.
such a
How
wonderful structure?
people do that?
If she did construct it
What
in
a great
memory of her husband,
masters.
why isn't the husband carved all over the structure? In fact, he's not even carved once, because we can identify all the statues here. Nearly
So
all of them
small
are Hindu gods. But whoever built
parts.
it is very special. It needs a superhuman thinking to merge both positive and negative construction techniques. Wait,
Yes.
positive and negative construction techniques? What is that, right? You see,
Architecture
ancient
of
Indians
this
used two major
temple
types of construction techniques.
is
The
genius.
first construction technique follows addition of materials. This is how we build
Yes.
everything today. We start from the ground and start adding
Adding
blocks
blocks.
from the bottom to
Positive
the top. This
adding
is the
blocks.
positive construction technique. But ancient builders of India also used a negative
construction
They
technique.
created structures by
Wow.
removing materials. They did not add a single
Wow,
piece of stone,
what's this?
wood, or metal to these temples. These temples were created by scooping out tons and tons of rocks from hills. The builders started from the top of the hill and removed the material from top
Look
to bottom.
like
This is the
magic.
negative construction
Like
technique.
not human
But the
hands
unique
make
aspect
that.
of this
Like
structure
it's
is that
magic.
it is employed both positive and negative construction techniques.
Perfect.
First, the ancient builders
Perfect
had to
lines,
remove
perfect
everything. They
shapes,
had to clear the trees and then had to
forms.
dig a giant crater into the ground,
Wow.
removing tons and tons of dirt. How much
In
dirt
ancient
are
time,
we talking
India
about? This structure is approximately
India
200 feet
used
long, 65 feet
very
wide,
interesting technologies
and 100 feet
and
deep. I calculated the
knowns.
approximate volume of this. So first, they had to remove 65,000 tons.
65,000 tons?
65,000 tons of dirt from top to bottom.
How
This
many
was the
people
negative part of the construction.
work
This is by no means
at this
an
place?
easy job even today.
How
Even
many
if you
people
use modern
died?
earth-moving
Yes.
machines, it can still take a very long time. But this is actually the easy part of the construction. After this, they had to start from the bottommost level and start adding stone blocks. This is the positive construction technique. But at this depth of 100 feet, water seeps into the soil and makes the soil wet. So they had to put in a very strong foundation. How many stone blocks were used for this construction? Too many to count. How many floors do you think this structure has? 7 floors.
7
Yes,
levels.
it has a total of 7 levels,
7.
just like most Hindu temples. Every level is filled with pillars, beams.
Oh, I understand.
Beautiful statues.
And first time
So
they used
imagine the
negative
amount of time and effort
technique,
needed to
construction
create such a
techniques,
brilliant structure.
and after that,
What is
positive.
Rani Ki Vav's real name? Why was such a structure built? Why did the builders want to create a negative structure? Did
Interesting
something happen
question.
to the builders while constructing a massive negative structure? Is this why they abandoned the site? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section.
Wow.
I'm Praveen Mohan. Thanks a lot for watching.
Thank
Don't
you,
forget to
Praveen
subscribe,
Mohan.
and I'll talk to you
Very
soon.
interesting
Bye.
information. It's like brain boom on my head. How people do that? I don't understand. In ancient time, he say it's negative temple and he feel negative feelings, he and his team, but it looks very beautiful, very unusual and very beautiful. It's like a big hole, not just hole. This hole make people make this hole and be this whole perfect walls and another very very small parts on statue, on walls. Wow. In Russia, I never see something like that. Only positive construction technologies. Wow, very interesting. This is my reaction. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye bye.